General, I called him and he said, my deputy is present. So I was looking around and then I realized that the deputy was right behind me. Yeah, so, of course, let me also recognize all of you distinguished ladies. When I entered this room this morning, I felt that am I alone in the wilderness? But as a head of service who presides over close to 49 institutions of this country, I realize that regardless of who is present, my presence is necessary. Is that not it? Yes. Because we need to inspire our women. Let me also recognize our media personalities. If they are not available, nobody else will know that we were here. At least they will disseminate to the wider public. I'm pleased to join you this morning at the second annual conference for women in leadership in the public sector. And I want to commend the Public Services Commission for creating this platform, unique platform, for reflection, for action, and renewed commitment. From time to time, we need to reconnect and rededicate ourselves and reconnect and so on. Of course, the presence of the Vice President of our Republic underscores government's commitment to women's leadership as a strategic pillar of the Resetting Ghana agenda. Indeed, it sends strong signals that advancing women leadership is not a peripheral, pedestrian issue, but a national priority. Now, this year's theme, breaking barriers, building impact, advancing women's leadership in the Resetting Ghana agenda, directly addresses collective responsibility as senior leaders. And let's take note that you shape institutional culture. You influence policy direction. And you determine how leadership opportunities are created, assessed, and sustained within the public sector. I always argue that it's either you are at the table or you'll be on the menu. It's either you are at the table or you'll be on the menu. And this speaks to the larger issue of the concept of representation. We have something we call the resemblance model of representation. Women can represent themselves better. Men can represent themselves better. So there's nobody who say that he can represent your interests better than you can. Of course, even though from time to time we save people from themselves. Is that not it? There are some people even in school, they want to sleep. You have to wake them up to go and study because then they will be nurturing their failure. So you save them from themselves. So women across Ghana have made substantial contributions to the public sector of this country, demonstrating excellence, demonstrating resilience, and dedication. However, one must candidly acknowledge that barriers persist, and indeed they will persist. But we need to deal with them. Limited access to leadership opportunities, cultural expectations, conscious and unconscious biases sometimes, structural constraints, and we talked about stereotypes, among others. These continue to hinder women's advancement into senior decision-making roles. And Chair, I was saying that it's either you are at the table or you'll be on the menu. And so when I realized that even though I had to speak first and I was pushed down, I said, hey, is it part of the agenda? Because the whole month is for assessment of the chief directors. So I reconfigured my schedule so that I can be here. And especially because I was informed by this in advance. So I've pushed some of the directors. So from here, I'm going to the Ministry of Sports and Recreation to engage one-on-one with the chief director and assess her performance in the course of 2025. One-on-one. You understand? So I'm happy that I'm here. At least I have the opportunity. So breaking barriers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, requires more than just the acknowledgement of the challenges and barriers. It necessitates deliberate leadership action. Deliberate. We need to be intentional. Institutions must intentionally create systems, units, structures that interact to perform a function. Those are systems that enable women not only to participate. Sometimes people are participating with the Olympic spirit. Yes, it's good to participate. But what is the quality of participation? What is your value? And my father used to tell me in the village that if I find myself, or if I found myself in any group, I should ask myself, what is my value to the group? So that I don't become a passenger in that group. Because there are free riders, right? It can't be bothered. There are people who cannot be bothered. They are free riders. I call those people day by day, we magnify thee. They can't be bothered. So we want them to participate, but we also want them to lead. We want you to influence and to shape national development outcomes. And Prof, you can remember when we sit around the table and we are taking decisions, you need people, men and women, with the right attitude, right mentality, right competency, right skills, and the right frame of mind to be able to decide, because the decisions we will take will have implications for the larger society. And that is why participation, quality participation, is important. Now, the implementation of the key tenets of the affirmative action, what we call the Gender Equity Act, and other legislations, for me, will prove very useful in advancing the interests of women in this country. The Ghana Civil Service, which I heard, has made deliberate strides in this regard. Gender mainstreaming is being strengthened through the efforts of gender desk officers across the ministries and departments, ensuring that gender considerations are integrated into planning, budgeting, implementation, and reporting. This work is supported at the highest level by the National Gender Task Force, which I chair, and which provides coordination, oversight, and accountability for gender inclusion across the service, consistent with what the President has asked us to do, inclusivity. If we can't harness the full potential of the human capital, we can't develop. We need to harness the full potential. But it's not just about prayers. I tell people that we also need to be intentional about the things that we do. Now, the progress, there's progress in leadership representation as well. Currently, as I speak, we have 28 chief directors in the civil service currently. In fact, 12 out of the 28 are women, and that represents 43%. So we are making progress. There are ongoing capacity building efforts which have also led to more women serving as directors and other senior leadership roles. The directors in the civil service are more than 35%. When you come down to those we have recruited, we are inching close to 50%. So there's progress we are making. While these gains are encouraging, I think that they ought to be sustained and we need to scale them up. A World Bank research paper titled Promoting Women's Leadership, What Works, What Doesn't, and What is Missing, published in October 2025, demonstrate that institutions with greater gender diversity, please take note, institutions with greater gender diversity in leadership show stronger organizational performance, more inclusive decision-making, and improved policy outcomes. The research further highlights that intentional leadership choices, such as transparent promotion systems, structured mentorship, and supportive workplace policies, are essential for advancing women into leadership roles. As Ghana resets its development agenda, women's role or women's leadership is essential, not optional. It's essential. It's an imperative. Women constitute a significant proportion of our population, of even public sector workers, and have demonstrated tremendous capacity and competence in the execution of their core mandate. Indeed, in the 2024 assessment of chief directors in the civil service, the overall best chief director was a woman. And if you look at the top 10, more than 50% were women. The top 10 in terms of performance. And this very rigorous, very objective, and merit-based, high level of meritocracy in the assessment processes. As at this morning, I had done 8 assessments out of 28 because I started just part of last week. And I can assure you that standards are very, very high among the women. Very meticulous, very diligent. I'm not going to give any names. Otherwise, people will begin to dream bad dreams. And then when the result comes, they can use my word today against me. Is that not it? But all I can say is that they are really punching their way up there as very critical actors in the governance architecture of the state, offering a lot of support. Indeed, my director of training, the director of training of the entire civil service is a woman. A quintessential chief, director who is, so when you give, there are people you give work to and they can go and sleep and you know that they will deliver. I hope you understand. You don't need to come back. Malizi, let's see you. That's Dr. Mrs. Elizabeth Obinyabua. Yes. He's a director of recruitment, training, and development. But when we go out of the headquarters, I don't talk about the recruitment because of pressure that will be brought on. Now, building real and lasting impact requires deliberate action, as I said. We must invest in capacity building and mentorship, strengthen policies that promote fairness, then work-life integration. Very important. So we have set up, for instance, a civil service employee assistance program. One is the counseling unit, and another one is, what you call the crèche for those who are in active service, to have a place where they can, have their case properly catered for. And plans, so we have one in gender. The chief director of gender is here. We have one already, and we have one at the headquarters, and we are doing one for the service-wide, so that all of us, women there, can have the capacity. They do not have any excuses. They will have a safe environment, and then they can deliver on their mandate. So this is the holistic approach into helping us have a safe environment, and then, of course, the right frame of mind to deliver. So we're creating a safe working environment, and we are fostering leadership cultures in which women support, they also support one another, and actively sponsor emerging talents. That's very important. And that's what the Vice President said. We need to recreate yourselves. It's not as if you go up there and then you kick away the ladder. There are some people like that. When they get up there, they kick away the ladder. Nobody should come. And growing up, I had some cousins like that. You were washing their cars. They wouldn't even ask you, where is your results slip, for them to check your progress. They think that you'll be washing cars through the second coming of Christ. So to you, the leaders who are present, the women leaders present, and to those preparing for leadership, your role in national development is indispensable. Prepare yourselves, speak with confidence, remain committed, build capacity, the competencies, skills, etc. And as we reset Ghana's development agenda, let us remember that breaking barriers for women is not an act of charity at all. It is strategic investment in stronger institutions, a more resilient nation. Together, let us rise, lead, and reset Ghana for generations to come. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Redakpo. Please, respectfully, could you kindly remain here? Thank you very much. Yes, sir. for a special recognition for your time and for your words of encouragement and wisdom. So I hereby invite Honorable Lydia Lamisia Kanvarba, Minister of State in charge of public sector reforms, to make this special recognition presentation to the head of service, Dr. Evans Aggrey-Darko.
Thank you very much for the honor done me. There's one thing about this man that I've been trying very hard to get it, but I've never gotten it. He has never disappointed me when it comes to presentation. So today, I want to learn from him how he does that. Please, I'll be in your office this afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Aggrey-Darko, and thank you, Honorable Minister. I have in my hand this wonderful book, 100 Career Nuggets, Keeping It Punchy, by our own affable Dr. Mrs. I. Stella Ajenim-Boateng, Vice Chair of the Public Services Commission. It goes for only 100 Ghana cedis, only 100. So one nugget is for one cedi. I got one a year ago, and I tell you, it's made a great impact on me as a career woman in the public service. So please, get one for yourselves. Only 100 Ghana cedis. Thank you very much. You can get some at the entrance out there. At this point, we'll have a 15-minute break. 15 minutes break to stretch, to network, and to get something to bite. We have set up coffee tables and snack tables behind this hall. So you go out through here, 10 right again, and then you find your snack points. Kindly help yourselves, and within 15 minutes, we are to be back here. Thank you very much. We'll be back at exactly 11:35. 11:35, the snack shop will close, and they will all resume here. Thank you very much. And as much as possible, let us network, make new friends, make new contacts. Thank you.